Yes. What is good, my people? Welcome back to Computer Music Academy's weekly homework podcast. I am your host, Taurus. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Welcome to week 118 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. Shout out to my man, Diggahertz, for that intro. And we'll actually be hearing from him later in the show. What are we doing this week? Well, if you are a follower of the show for at least a year, you know we do a variety of things here. It's not just make a beat. We cover different styles of music. We cover different challenges. And one of those challenges actually set off the weekly homework assignment. It made it what it is right now. And we'll take you back to week number 2, which was the first of this particular series. It was the catalyst. It was the ignition of something that we've been doing for 4 years now. And that is the challenge, or I guess you could say the challenge of the sample mutilation. It's something that we normally do. And sample mutilation is simply this. I give the people all one sample, and they have to take that sample and do something incredibly sickening with it. And, you know, the whole mutilation comes in where you take that sample, as you should when it comes to a chop and flip situation, but you take that sample and you mutilate it. You absolutely turn it into something else other than what it is. You know, you make it sound different. You do effects, dynamics through chops and flips and whatever it takes to make it your own, make it something else than what it originally started out from. And we've been going very hard. We've been going very hard. I think this will be number 10. I could be wrong, but we've done, man, the very first one was Bob Jane's Nautilus. We've done Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. We've done, oh my God, we did the Price is Right theme last year. I mean, we've done a variety of things, and every time it seems to be one of our best podcasts. So this week, I actually gave them something that I have been wanting to use myself for quite some time. If you've ever seen the movie The Big Lebowski, you know what sample I'm giving them. At least you should. In The Big Lebowski, and I'm not spoiling anything if you haven't seen it. If you have not seen The Big Lebowski, please go see it. Pick it up on video, VOD, whatever. It's one of my favorite movies. It's a great movie. Anyhow, there's a scene in The Big Lebowski where our main character goes on a trip. I'll just say that. And the song that's playing in the background is the song that I gave my people, which is Kenny Rogers and Second Edition, which is his old band, called Just Dropped In. And it's kind of like, you know, go look the sample up, but it's kind of like now, you know, Kenny Rogers is more country, but this is more of like a psychedelic rock kind of thing. This was early 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Very cool song. I've always wanted to use it myself, and I gave it to the people. And as a result, we have 13 submissions this week. So let me stop talking. Let's get this thing started with a brand new member who joined. And it's funny how this always works. Cats come through the door. I'd be like, hey, this is the assignment that just came out a couple of days ago. And so far, it's so good. Cats have been knocking them out as soon as they walk through the door. So shout out to our latest member, Dixie Freely. Let's see what he's doing. St. Louis representative and new member to CMA, my man Dixie Freely. That was dope. That was very dope. It's crazy because, well, you know, we talked a little bit as we do. You know, if you come through the door, you have to talk to me when you come to CMA. But we were just kind of kicking it, and he was just giving me a little bit of his backstory. He's been around the country, and he's, you know, been in St. Louis for a while now. And, you know, to know what kind of music comes out of that particular region, and then to hear this is pretty refreshing because it's almost like a East Coast kind of thing. Like I would say like a early 2000, you know, late 90s, definitely late early 2000s kind of East Coast joint. But either way, I love it. I love the way it sounds. I like the use of the sample. He actually had a couple different change ups. He actually had like a build up in there that was around the 135, somewhere in that area. I like the couple of change ups he had as far as different drops and skips within the beat. Intro drums were tight. Drums were very cool. I really liked everything about the sample. I liked the chops and everything. I'm wondering what he's using as far as swing or quantizing. It sounded slightly stiff, but not very stiff. So I'm wondering, because if I'm not mistaken, he uses machine. So I'm wondering if he's like me, where I don't really use it as much anymore, but I always used 50% quantizing. And either way, this is dope. I really enjoyed hearing this and looking forward to hearing a lot more from my man Dixie Freely. So thank you, sir. All right, coming up to week number 2 for my man, No One You Know. Let's get it in. fellow Ableton user, no one you know. Second week in the WHP. Pretty good, my man. I got to give it to him. He's definitely we'll say a Metro Detroiter. And he kept it, in my opinion, and a lot of people who are from here will agree, he kept it real Detroit. It definitely has like a Detroit sound to it with, the selection of, I guess you could call that like an 808 kick, and the type of sharp drum with hi-hats. Yeah, definitely real Detroit. Very cool though, not dissing at all. Very cool. I like a lot about it, my man. It's actually definitely off the top. We can definitely scratch this one off the list. This is mixed much better than the last submission he turned in, the very first one. This definitely has a little more dynamics to it, as far I should say range, as far as the frequencies and whatnot. Still have some improving, but it's definitely on the way. I see where you're going, but a lot of stuff was hitting perfectly. We just gotta, in time, we'll fine tune the mixes and whatnot. The mixes aren't really the important thing here. It's the actual execution of, the assignment and the source material, whatever. But yeah, I liked what he did here. He had a couple of different parts that I recognized from the song, which is very cool. And then he actually added on, I think that would have been like a pad or a string, which sounded pretty cool. I would like to have heard one or two other instruments to kind of fill this thing out, because as you saw, I would say about a minute 20 or so, you kind of heard the whole song. And that's one thing that I constantly tell people is, the limit is 2:30 for as long as the song should be. The limit is 2:30. You don't have to stretch it out. If you really don't have too much more to say after like a minute and a half or so, no problem. Scale it back. Because here's the reality. If you do something like it where you put it up online or whatever, people aren't going to listen for the entire song anyhow, in most cases. But I will say, even though he only had, I would say about definitely two patterns and a couple of change ups, possibly three patterns. What I do appreciate is the different change ups in the sense of taking instruments out, bringing stuff back in, flipping things around to where you only hear certain things at one time, and having taking those sequences and making different sequences, which is very cool. So shout out for that, big time. That's the kind of stuff I definitely want to see. And that's going to, just our stepping stones as we grow throughout the rest of the year and your tenure at CMA. Overall, good submission, my man. Big time. I'm really excited to see what else you come up with this year. So thank you. All right, going on to our man, dude with the shortest intro in the class of 16. My man, okay, Joey. Let's see what he's doing. Yes, sir. Okay, Joey. This is his third or is it fourth week of participating. Nice job, sir. Very, very nice job. And I got to point this out. He actually said, if this sounds like trash, excuse me. I'm really just getting acclimated to this stuff. Does not sound like trash, my man. Now we have some growth, of course, but it does not sound like trash. I actually, so far, I want to say this is the best joint. I want to say I have to go back and listen to the first one because I really enjoyed the very first submission as well. But yeah, this is definitely an improvement from last week. We got a bass line and we definitely got some more sequences in here, which I'm very, very happy. Very happy. It has a couple of different change ups. I would say probably about definitely 2, maybe 3 different sequences. Very cool because when it got to, I think the beat actually kicked in right before the 10-second mark, and then it just kind of repeated, and I'm like, oh no, please don't do this again. But I think it was about the 40-second mark when things actually changed, and he got to a different pattern. I'm like, okay, cool. And I like what he did with that pattern because I want to say it's almost 2, but it's definitely 1. But yeah, it actually had a change up within that pattern itself, which was very cool. Again, keep trying to keep things exciting, keeping things moving, keeping, the inspiration and evoking emotion and stuff like that. Very, very cool. I like the drums, had a bass line, as I think I pointed out, had a bass line, somewhat of a bass line. Overall, very good submission. Definitely a step up from last week. Also, on this particular one, he said he used the MV8000. So shout out to him and my man Netmaker, who's also a member. They both used that. And it actually sounded very good coming out of there. I don't know what kind of onboard dynamics and effects that they have as far as and then processing as far as coming out of that going into Ableton, because he uses that also. But sounded very good overall. So thank you. This is what I'm talking about. And we're going to keep it going, my man. As long as, you and everyone else keeps participating, you're definitely going to grow. That's what it's all about. So shout out to my man Joey for that one. All right. Keeping it moving. Let's bring it back up to Detroit and holler at my man Third Degree. Let's see what he's doing. Yes. Okay. My man Third Degree. Now, props to Third. Let's just get this out the way right now. Third has been here. I think he came maybe halfway through the first year. That would have been 2013, if I'm not mistaken. And, he's in and out. He'll come through, he'll do a couple weeks, he'll disappear for a couple of months, that kind of thing. And then it's like last year, I don't even think we heard from Third at all, which is kind of weird. But so far this year, I think this is the third of the year. Please keep it going. Keep it going. Because, we follow each other on Facebook, and I'm constantly hitting them up like, dog, where you at? Where you at, dog? Bruh, where you at? So I guess he got tired of it. Like, look, man, I'm going to get in here this year. And so far, so good. This joint right here, got to give him props. Now, before I go, let me say this, and it's not a diss. I was going to say, before I go with the praise, let's go here. Not a diss at all. My only, I wouldn't even say nitpick. My only thing that I have an issue with is the balancing and tweaking of the sounds, the mixing, because overall, the track itself is dope. I like the pacing. I like how it sounds, how it's chopped. I like the different sounds he used, even down to the drum sounds, which I want to say those are like blackout drums. I could be wrong. But yeah, I loved how he chopped the sample, all of that. But then it seems uneven because it doesn't seem like the kicks and the snares and the hats versus the samples. And then I know there was a slight bass line in there also. It seems like everything is not aligned perfectly. And, that's through effects and dynamics as well as EQing, mixing and balancing, leveling, that kind of thing. Overall, very cool track. I like the different patterns he had in here. I like the way it broke down. I think it was around the 55, between 50 and 55, where actually went to an entirely different pattern, almost like I want to say almost like a chorus, but it actually came in, had the claps, different pattern. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I see what you're doing. But yeah, P, my man, please keep it coming. Please, I'm begging you, keep it coming, my man, because you're one of the dopest cats here, and I want you to continue to excel. So stay on top of it, my man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take it down south for a little bit and holla at my man, Ron B. This dude, Ron B, wilding out. Oh boy, that was a dope submission. Props, my man. He has been hitting nothing but solid submissions every week since he came in. This will be week 3, if I'm not mistaken. Very solid, my man. Jeez, oh Pete. He did a number of things, taking different parts of the song and, slowing things down, speeding them up. The one thing I really appreciate is, to me, and I know there may be more in the program, but this is what it's all about when it comes to sample mutilation. Because, like I said in the beginning, taking something and turning it into something entirely different to where it sounds almost nothing like the original material. And this is a perfect example of that, the way he took the voices and a couple of different stabs and whatnot out of the song, and it sounds entirely different. If it wasn't for hearing certain just small elements that I recognize from the song, I would have not known it was from the song. And then he actually said, I don't know if he said he sung it. I have to reread that. But he was talking about the hook. And I think he sang that where he actually got inspired by a part of Kenny Rogers' verse where he said, "I tripped on a cloud and fell 8 miles high." And he just said, "Music makes me high." That's dope. Liked everything about this. Few different patterns, different change ups, drops, mutes, all of that. I really liked. Where was it? Where the organ kicked in. I want to say about the 40, maybe, or maybe a little bit later, when the organ actually kicked in and just filled it out a little bit more. That's what I'm talking about. And like I said, the way he moved things around and pitched it up, pitched it down, stretched it or whatever, it sounds entirely different from the source material. So major props for that, my man. You have been handling business over these last few weeks. Please continue. Please. Thank you, my man. All right, we're going back to the DMV. Hollering at my man, who hasn't been around in a couple of weeks, but he's back now. Basement Chemistry. Let's see what he's doing.
Listening to the sound provided that is Basement Chemistry.
DMV represent. That's how you come back after a hiatus, dog. My man, basement chemistry. Keeping it real East Coast. Oh, I love that. Absolutely love that. That's one thing I love about this song is, you know, if you just see Kenny Rogers, you're gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be some garbage. And luckily, I didn't know that it was Kenny Rogers ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have never even thought to use this sample. But when you hear the different elements and the different sections within the song, because there's a lot. I want to say there's about 3, maybe 4 sections were just open instruments. Very easy to chop. But yo, Basement, this dude came through, kept keeping it real East Coast. Like, I almost want to say, who would I see over that? Maybe Havoc and Prodigy back in the day. Maybe. I was a fan of Mike Geronimo as well. Maybe Cannabis. Yeah, I can see Cass killing that. But I love the chops, love the break beat drums, love the different sequences he had in there. And it was about, I want to say about 3. But you know, different mutes and ways that he flipped those sequences around and making it work. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I want to hear. Man, that was very, very solid, my man. Thank you for that submission. Jeez, oh Pete. And keeping it on the East Coast, going a little north. Let's go holler at my man representing Jersey, 18th Dynasty. 18th Dynasty doing his thing for 118. Yes, sir. I see you. I see you working. So I gotta give him a shout out because he said, "Dog, fatherhood is real. I'm doing a million things right now. I got to put clothes in the dryer. I need to replace the shower head. Not to mention I have a baby and a wife." But he said he still had a little bit of time to sit down and knock out this beat. And this isn't a knock, but you can definitely tell that he didn't have a lot of time. I wouldn't say he didn't put a lot of time into it. He just didn't have a lot of time to really bring it out. I did like what I heard. I like the chops and the sequences. I definitely like the drum selection. I like all of that. Definitely would have liked to seen it filled out a little bit more. I don't think I heard a bass line in there. Would have been cool to actually get a couple of other instruments, because, you know, they had the option of layering, adding a little bit more to it. But would have been nice to actually hear a couple of other things kind of filling the track out. You know what I'm saying? Making it a little bit more full. But overall, just judging on what I do have here, very nice. It's definitely a Dynasty beat because, again, it's just over a minute. It definitely evokes some emotion because Dynasty, he's a vet at this. You know what I'm saying? He's been doing this for a while, making the beats and composing things in certain ways. And he knows the type of stuff that I look for the submissions. So he knows what's going on here. And overall, I did like the submission. I would like to hear a finished version, however, because this is cool. It's a very good foundation. Now, let's fill this joint in and give it a little bit more. Take it from the foundation and build it into the entire home, so to speak. But my man, yeah, really, really enjoying that right there. So shout out for that submission. Big time. All right, keeping things going, bringing things back up to Detroit, checking in with my man, MICnotes. Let's get it in. MICnotes doing his thing for 118. I got to give it up. That was actually very interesting. I would have never thought to think that someone would go that route with this particular sample. I like it. I like the tempo and the use of it is very interesting. It's unlike, I'm pretty sure, and we still got a few submissions left. I'm pretty sure it's unlike anything else that everybody else is doing. Very cool. Like I said, I like the tempo. I like the drums and everything used. I like the use of the sample. A few different sequences. A couple of change ups. Like some warping type stuff going on. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Would have liked to seen it fill out just a little bit more, but I do like what's here. And again, Mike has his own style. This dude has a style unlike anyone else I have ever listened to. Ever. And I'm not just talking about CMA. I'm talking about beats in general that I've listened to pretty much my entire life. Dude is very unique with what he does. And he's a cat that's going to take what you give to him and do what he does to it and literally stand out from everybody else in the crowd. And that's a good thing. Being unique, being rare, you know what I'm saying? Which where I don't think I've ever heard a track of his that sounded alike. That's a good thing. At the same time, he still has a certain signature sound. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I did like the sequence. I would have liked, I tell you what I would have liked, and maybe this is just not him. I would have liked the drums to have been a little bit punchier. They were, and I think it was just because of the type of feel he was going for. almost like, and I'm reading his submission, almost like a movie soundtrack to a western in a saloon, and there's a game going on. You know what I'm saying? With well, what would that be? Poker, I guess. Where they're doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, but I would have liked the drums and the sounds overall to actually kick and hit a little bit more, have a little bit more to it. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I had to do with his submission and a couple of others, but definitely his, I definitely had to raise the volume a little bit. So there is kind of telling that he's lacking some limiting or maximizing in the mix, and that's part of the reason why it's not hitting the way as another track would. But again, that could be just Mike's style. We will see. Overall, though, I did like the track. Definitely different from everyone else. Thank you, my man. Greatly appreciated. All right, East Side. Let's holler at my man Sho-Nuff. See what he's doing. Oh my. Okay. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's warm it up. Stamp. Approval. That is by far my favorite Sho-Nuff track. He has topped the last one, which was late last year sometime. And that's definitely the best Sho-Nuff track this year so far. That was nice. Oh my. Now, I will say this. He didn't write anything in the submission, other than the title or whatnot. But people actually name their submissions on occasion. And if I have to tell you the name of his submission, you either A, don't know the song, or you haven't been paying attention to the podcast. If I have to tell you the name of that particular song, whew, that was dope. Oh my. And that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Taking the song, the original material, first of all, making it sound damn near nothing like the original, but on the other side, filling it out, making it an entire experience. You know what I'm saying? Not just having just the chops and whatnot. This dude, bass line, he actually did a little singing as he does. Little vocal stabs that I think it came from him. It sounded like James Brown, but I'm pretty sure that was him. And then for anybody that's listening and they say, well, wait a minute, that those keys and roads or whatever, that sound like that's from another sample. You can't do that. Well, actually, you can, because that's not from another sample. That's Sho-Nuff. Sho-Nuff is a ridiculous instrumentalist. He is sick when it comes to actually playing stuff out. If you are not a fan of the show, somebody who has been following for a longer time, man, but everything about that was on point. Yes, 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 yes. That's what I'm talking about. Just full in your face, it's all kind of great sounds and change ups and sequences, evolution within the track. That's what I'm talking about. That is that's that deal. My man. Thank you, sir. All right. Let's head back down to Memphis and holla at my man, Diggahertz. Memphis' own. I totally screwed that up. Memphis's own. Would you say Memphis's? Memphis? Okay. Representing Memphis, my man, Diggahertz. Jeez, oh, Pete. That was. Yeah. Good Lord. I liked everything about that. When it hit. Drums on point in that one. Love. Diggahertz knows how to pick drums for his samples. And that could go, I can give that advice to a couple of the cats that participated today. You got to have the right drums. And if you don't have the right drums, you got to tune those drums until they fit the rest of the song, or you make the rest of the song fit it. It has to be a full package. Everything has to be cohesive. Drums and drum work on point. Love the chops in the sample. Couple different patterns, some drops, and little evolution in the track. And I love Diggahertz is kind of like myself. He's obviously better, but I like, depending on the track, I like to keep things simple but dope. You know what I'm saying? Simple, slightly minimalistic, but everything that is happening, that is heard, is being heard, and it's dope. It stands out. Everything that is being played at that particular moment, you can definitely, you can definitely hear everything. And that's what I really appreciate about his production, because he kind of doesn't need to do a lot as far as add all these different layers on. He can, and he has. He's very good at it. But with what he does put into the majority of his tracks, and where it works is just the usage of everything, the overall composition, and the overall package when it's all said and done. Love the chops, love the filter. The use of the filter was very dope. High quality right there, my man. I don't have much more to say about that, except for, like I said, it would have been cool to see it filled out just a little bit more. And who knows? He may go back and do something else with it. But overall, very, very nice, my man. Thank you. All right, going over to my man Taurus Beats. Oh, let's hear what's going on with this one. Good Lord. Whoo. Warm it up. Put the stamp on it. That is officially my favorite Taurus track of all time. Holy crap. Now, the reason why I go there, and y'all know I love me some Taurus. I love Taurus Beats. The reason why I go there is because in the past, and Taurus has been with us for a while now, in the past, when it came to sampling and, certain genres or certain type of assignments, Taurus kind of shied away from them. I'm not afraid to put that out there. But this year seems like he's doing more experimenting. He's more, like, I think I pointed out, I think it was last week, that he's evolving a lot. He has been in just about every submission this year, including the Dilla joint. And he's evolving. And he's starting to participate more when it comes to assignments like this. And I've already known that Taurus is a crazy sample flipper when given the opportunity. Like one of his early joints that he did, I think he did it before he even came to CMA, but I heard I can't remember the name of it, but man, he knows which one I'm talking about. The way, because he did a video on it, and the way in which he actually chopped that sample and he showed all the stuff that he did as far as building the song. I was just like, yo, and then he wasn't doing that as much or at all when it came to the submissions. This right here, not only is he killing the original sample, then he has all of the great Taurus elements that he uses in the majority of his songs, as far as his instrumentation and the instruments that he uses and the elements, and then the mixing. That's the other thing. And when I first, before I introduced the song, as I was introducing the song, when I kind of had that hesitation, the reason why is because I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. I can look at your waveform and know what's going on in the song. I can tell that this is going to be a full song, or it's going to be a slightly minimalistic song. There's not a lot of activity, or there's an incredible amount of activity, or there's way too much bass. I can kind of read waveforms like that now. And when I see somebody like Taurus and Sho-Nuff had one, it was a couple other people I can't really note at the moment, that they got those full waveforms. Actually, I know for a fact RTO and Wallace, they do the full waveforms. And it's like, okay, I get excited when I see that, especially coming from those people, because I know what they're capable of. So again, we got a very full waveform, mixed well, sounds great, all the elements, A1. High quality, my man. Jeez, OP. Yeah, that is officially my favorite Taurus track. And as I said with Sho-Nuff's also, both of those are getting bumped today. Trust me. So thank you for that, my man. Yeesh, way to kill it. All right, and speaking of which, coming up next, Fairfield, the Bay Area. Holla at my man, RTO Beats.
RTO Beats.
RTO Beats, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez, oh, Pete. What the hell just happened? Good Lord. Wow. Ah! That is my favorite RTO beat of all time. What the hell? Jeez, man. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. That's absolutely sickening. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, there's so much, I'll use the word activity. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. It made me want to cry. Good Lord. Dog. First of all, don't need to be said, but I will. Mixed very well. The way the drums hit and stand out, high quality. Selection of samples out of the song and the way in which they were used and different sequences, fades and filtering and mutes. And then something that I've noticed he's been doing over the last couple of weeks, he's getting to an entirely different pattern in the second half of the song. And then, like he did today, ends up going back to like the original. Holy crap, dog. This was beautiful. How is it that we have had 3 favorite tracks today? Good Lord. RTO, my man. Thank you, sir. And now for the finale. I'm exhausted. And I'm wondering what the hell is going to happen. I'm looking at the wave like, uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, closing it out this week, Mr. Wallace. the great Mr. Wallace, closing out episode 118 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. You know what I love about Wallace? Besides the fact that he's incredibly dope, I love the fact that his tracks have layers. They have movements. They have evolution. Take, for instance, when the track actually kicks in around the 10-second mark, and then a little bit more kicks in around the 20-second mark, and then pretty much the full beat kicks in, at least for that particular movement, kicks in at the 30-second mark, and it just builds up. And it's like every time, especially when that second one hit, most people would, on that 20-second mark, most people would already bring everything in at that point. Wallace knows suspense. He knows how to keep you guessing on the edge of your seat. Like, where is he going to go? Where is he going to go? And then when he finally brings everything in, it's just like, oof. But where most people would stop there, Wallace continues flipping things around and building the song and adding extra elements and extra layers to where in this particular case, this is just under 250. By the time it gets to the end of the song for Wallace, it's damn near an entirely different song. That's crazy that he pulls that off, I would say 9.5 times out of 10. Straight up. Incredible submission, my man. Again, no, without the obvious samples, like vocal samples and whatnot, you wouldn't know that this came from the song. That is what sample mutilation is all about. Man, that's what sampling and chopping and flipping a song is all about in general. But when we get to this mutilation, that's what I want, man. And Cats delivered today. I would have loved to see, I don't know where Nocturnal is. This is one of maybe two this year that he will miss. I would have loved to see Nocturnal. I would have loved to see Gemini 4D on this one. Don't know where he was. Definitely would have loved to see Davenport. And Davenport hit me up, was like, dog, this sample, yeah. Especially after he turned in last week's submission and he was like, man, this was a little rough. I got to have some samples when I do my tracks. And here we are. Incredible sample. Would have loved to see them. And if and if y'all still are going to submit tracks, and we can post them on the site, it's all good. But man, Cats absolutely delivered this go round. So shout out to Mr. Wallace, RTO Beats, Taurus Beats, Diggahertz, Sho-Nuff, MICnotes, 18th Dynasty, Basement Chemistry, Ron B, Third Degree, OK Joey, No One You Know, and Dixie Freely for participating this week and bringing the heat. That is what it's all about, my people. That is what we do over at CMA. And if you would like to be a part of the community, do what we do. It's very simple. Come on over to computermusicacademy.com and join us. Whew. This was exhausting. In a good way. I'm done for the week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll talk to you next time. See ya.